Hey, eighth graders, just a quick overview of our logical operators. We're going to be moving on to doing something like algebra. And if you do not know how to do your subtraction, addition, multiplication, and division in arithmetic, you can't do algebra. Same thing in logic. If you do not have these down completely solid, you're not going to be able to do anything else from this point on. So if you do not know them, you should be watching this. You guys all have your negation down. I am not worried at all. You seem to do that well. It is pretty easy. It just is that. Okay, so conjunction. That's and, but, and it has the dot. Trick for conjunction is, in order for the value for the conjunction to be true, is that they both have to be true. If there's any false, a conjunction cannot be true. So the only row in a conjunction, wherever you're using and but, that is going to be true is this true row. That will be true. Everything else will be false. In this, you can know that if there's ever something that's false in a conditional, you don't even have to look at the other one. You can just look at one. As soon as you see a false, you know the whole thing is false. The only way they're true is if they're both true. Okay, disjunction. This is or. Don't get it mixed up with conjunction because that happens a lot. Disjunction is just talking about or. For a disjunction, it's sort of the opposite of the conjunction. For disjunction to be false, they both have to be false. So the only disjunction pair that's going to be false is when both P and Q are false. That one will be false. Everything else has a little bit of true in it, so it's true. Disjunctions are false if they're both false, true otherwise. So there are 3 falses in a conjunction and 1 true, and 3 trues in a disjunction and 1 false. Don't get them mixed up. Or is if either this or this is true, then it's true. All right, conditional. This is getting mixed up with this for some of you. So, and secret word is floppy frogs, if I forget. So floppy frogs. Conditional, if then. So for this to be true, this is the antecedent. That's the first thing in your proposition. Q is the second thing in your proposition when you write it out like this. So you look at the first one, then the second one. If you do not keep your promises, if you say a truth and then it ultimately turns out to be wrong, that's the only thing that is false in a conditional. So conditionals are if, then. Some of the setups work with unless, when, something implies that. That's all going to be the conditional that uses the horseshoe. It's if-thens. But if it's set up like this, the only one that is false is if you start, the first part is true and the second part is false. That's false. Everything else is true. You just fill it and you don't even have to look at it. So when you're doing this one, if the first part is false, you don't even have to look at this part. You know these are going to be true. If the first part is true, you have to check out what the second part is in order to know if it's true or false. So this one is special row, true leading to false makes it false. This one and this one is a special row because 2 falses lead to false. Conjunction, 2 truths lead to truth, so that's the special one. That's the one that's different in all of these rows. Okay, biconditional, you guys actually got that pretty well. If the P and the Q match, then the biconditional is true. So this one, true, they match. So this is true. We're going to write it right under the biconditional. This biconditional stands for if and only if. It's not if then, it's not only if. It has to be this whole sentence written out. If and only if, and it's biconditional. So if they match, it's true. So this line, the first line, true, is going to be true. Last line, false, is also going to be true. The other ones are false. So the secret word was floppy frogs, and I'm going to add one more to it. Just make sure you watch the whole thing. Floppy frogs fly is the 3-word phrase. Anyway. So if you have this solid, then you can move on and do exercise 6. Take care.